Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Today I'm filming a video that I literally am so excited about, although I feel like I say that at the beginning of all of my videos, but I have been planning this for so long and I've been procrastinating it for so long and I'm so excited that everything is finally set up. I think the fact that I procrastinated it actually ended up being a good thing in a way because I've accumulated so many books. But this is a summer book haul, I guess is what I'm gonna call it. It's just a whole bunch of stuff. It's a whole bunch of books that I'm so excited about, books that I wanted to make sure that I had with me in my library before I go to college, and yeah. So also speaking of college, if you're wondering where I'm going or what my plans are there or how my experience went, please stay tuned for a video that will be coming out probably later this week or within the month of whenever I end up posting this video. But yes, these are all of the books I've accumulated over the, I don't even know, a lot of these are recent, believe it or not, but a lot of these are, it's been a minute. So I do want to get started. I think these two stacks are the stacks that I want to touch upon first, and then I'm going to go to this one right here. Okay, so we're going to start with these two. These two books are books that were given to me by my English teacher. This year I took AP Lit and I am grateful and so beyond blessed that my teacher is so wonderful and so passionate about what she teaches. The first one I have is Gross Indecency, which is the 3 Trials of Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde is the author of The Picture of Dorian Gray. He also wrote The Importance of Being Earnest. And the next thing that we got, hopefully this video will pick up because this is going to be like a 30-minute video, was Water for Elephants, which if you don't know, this is currently on Broadway. There's also a movie and I would recommend that you watch the movie because Robert Pattinson is in it. So the next book I have is If Only I Had Told Her. If you can't tell, she's messed up. I got water all over her, which is heartbreaking for me because I love my books are in pristine condition. And unfortunately, I did get water all over her, so this is the second book to If He Had Been With Me, which is it's so sad. It's so sad, which is a wonderful, wonderful book, and I recommend you, I love it. It was my first read of this year, actually. It wasn't 5 stars, I don't know why. But yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much because you can't really talk about this one without spoiling the entire thing. This is told in 3 point of views though, which I love when there's dual point of view and 3.3 points of view, is that how you would say it? Is just going to be so much better. I don't know. Okay, the next book that I got, this is another one that was given to me by my English teacher. Another one that we were supposed to read and I did not. This is Ophelia. This is about Ophelia from Hamlet. We read Hamlet as a class this year, which I definitely plan on rereading sometime in the future. I just don't think I loved it, but I also didn't understand it, which is kind of, I feel like, embarrassing to admit, but I also feel like relatable in some sense. Shakespeare is definitely difficult to understand, and for me it was extremely difficult, especially in a class setting where I had to pretend to understand it because everybody else understood it. So I would definitely love to go back and reread it and take my time, just because I kind of felt like I was in competition with my classmates this year trying to keep up with them, because I think lesson learned, AP Lit was definitely not a class I should have taken, but I did take it and I made it to the end of the year. So there's that. Okay, the next book that I got this during Christmas time, and I meant to read it during Christmas time, but I didn't. This is Cold World. I was super excited about this one, and then someone gave it a bad rating. Steph Bower, I think is how you say her last name. She gave it a bad rating and I was really upset. I'm gonna read this eventually. I just don't have any kind of rush to read it now. Okay, the next book that I also got this, I actually didn't get this so much, I don't know what I'm talking about. I got this recently, and this is Icebreaker. I think everyone knows this about by now. I have been dying to read this book, and I kept putting off buying it because it was kind of expensive. I don't know why. But I had bought Wildfire, I think that's what it's called. I'm looking at it on my desk. I don't have my glasses on. But I was like, I had to pick this up because I had the other one, and I was like, you know what, I can't read that one without reading this one. So I finally got it, and I'm so excited to read it. This is about Anastasia, who is an ice skater, and then Nate, who is a hockey player, and hockey player romances are just, there's just something about them. Okay, the next book that I got, I think I got this a while ago. This might have been in my last book haul. I'm not sure if it was, I apologize. This is Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. I'm so excited for this one because it has pictures in it. So I'm really excited, and it's a whole series. Okay, next I picked up Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I have actually not read an Ali Hazelwood book yet. I have Love Hypothesis and I haven't read it. So my camera's actually sitting on it right now. But I'm super excited to read that one eventually. And I picked up Bride because because it was giving Twilight vibes. And if you don't know this about me, I'm obsessed with Twilight and I have never even finished the whole series. I've watched all the movies, but I've only read the first Twilight book and I own all of them. I actually have a special shelf in my room for specifically Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey. Okay, the next two books I got are actually in a series. I'm just missing the third one, but it is Carval and Legendary. I wanted to get started on these because I really want to read Once Upon a Broken Heart. But you're supposed to read this series first, and I'm in no rush because I don't have Once Upon a Broken Heart because I feel like I talk about this all the time. But I cannot get Once Upon a Broken Heart because the US cover is so ugly, in my opinion. No offense, Stephanie Garber. Okay, the next book I got is A Touch of Darkness, which I am so excited about because I just touched the book. I love the way the book feels in my hands, and I love the writing. I read a few pages about it when I was sitting in Barnes & Noble. This is actually the last time I think I bought a book at Barnes & Noble because since then, I just have not been able to purchase things at Barnes & Noble because of the price. But I will definitely be going back eventually when I make 5 figures, but not now. And the last book for that little pile over there is The Confidence of Wildflowers by Michaela Smeltzer. I started reading another book of hers on my Kindle and I absolutely loved it. I had gotten the recommendation from Sarah Caroli, but she actually DNF'd the book. But I loved it because it was moving so fast and I don't know, for me, I loved it. I think writing-wise, it wasn't like the best, technically, writing-wise. But I was loving the story for me. And I have to continue reading it before I judge the author. I feel kind of bad about that. But I'm a little bit concerned to read this because there's a massive age gap. And I'm not really a fan of that trope. Even if it is a trope, I don't think it should be a trope. But yeah, it's a dad and he has this young girl nanny his kids. She's 18 and he's 31. So, anyways, we're gonna jump into the Book of the Month box that I got. I wish I could be one of those cute little YouTubers that are like, and our sponsor is Book of the Month, but unfortunately it's not a sponsor. I actually have to get this myself. But maybe one day. But yes, so the first book, this is actually May's box, so it is recent. The first book I picked up is the Book of the Month book, and it is Christina Lauren, The Paradise Problem. I picked this one up and it was my favorite one out of all the options they gave. And I'm excited to read it because I haven't read a Christina Lauren book yet. I know she has a lot of cute covers. Yeah, I'm excited to read this one because I just need more summer books and I feel like it gives summer vibes. And so does the next one, which is Just for Summer by Abby Jimenez. And I'm excited for this one because I haven't read an Abby Jimenez book yet and I have heard that she's incredible. So I am excited to read this. And this is about two people who they both feel like whenever they get into a relationship and the relationship fails, the person they were dating then goes on to find their true love. And they both bond over this. And so obviously I'm assuming they're gonna now fall in love, but I'm excited for the storyline because I think it'll be really cute. And I'm hoping to like get enough summer books that I can do kind of like a beach reading thing, but I don't know. And then the next and final book I got for this month's books is Daisy Jones and the Six, which is a book that I am so excited to read. I haven't read it yet. I've heard a lot of good things about this book. It's by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which she's the author of, she wrote The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which was really good. I actually really enjoyed that one. That one like it was one of the books that like kickstarted my, like rekindled my love for reading. So yeah, we are now going on to the final section, which is this book, which is literally my favorite section to talk about because it's all the good stuff. Like this is the good stuff too, but this is like, okay, so first we have The 7-Year Slip, which is about a girl who goes into her apartment, and whenever she's in her apartment, she either goes in the future or in the past. Yeah, 7 years in the past, which I thought was just really cool. And my favorite booktuber, Destiny, she rated this 5 stars, so I really wanted to pick this up and read it because I just love Destiny and I love her content, and you guys should all subscribe to her because she's great. And she rated it 5 stars, so obviously I had to read it. And then the next book that I also picked up is Assistant to the Villain. I had wanted this one for a while. I finally got it. Yeah, it was just giving everything I love in a fantasy. Like it was giving the ultimate fantasy book. Like if I've ever looked for a fantasy, this like it reminded me of Land of Stories. That's the kind of vibe it was giving. And I know the author is coming out with the second one soon, so I want to make sure that I read that so I have that under my belt. The next book that I got is actually a self-help book, and it is 101 Essays Will Change the Way You Think. I had wanted this book since January 1st, since the beginning of this year, because everyone and their mother was reading this book, and I had tried so hard to get my hands on this. I had tried Walmart, I had checked Target, I had checked Barnes & Noble, didn't have it. Barnes & Noble doesn't sell this author apparently, so I was struggling. shipping, and I had to finally come to terms with the price on Amazon and order it, and I did, and I cannot wait to dive into that. Hopefully before I go to college. I feel like it'll really be something nice to have. And yeah, the next book that I got is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. This is the first book in the Boys of Tommen series. This is another 5-star series through Destiny, so she's the one that spoke about it, and that's why I went to go get it. This is in the young adult series. From what I've heard, this is not young adult, so I was a little bit hesitant when I saw it there, and when I saw how tiny this looked, because compared to the original cover, I was a little shocked. But then I opened the book and I realized how tiny the lettering is. So yeah, also another book in this series just came out. So yeah, it's kind of been resurfacing all over my 40 pages series, which is why TikTok is kind of dangerous because it's spoiling books for me. So I try to be careful when it comes to stuff like that. But yeah, I'm excited to start this series, and I only got the first one, which is so unlike me because usually I got all the books in the series, I feel like. Okay, then the next book that I got this one a while ago, but I also don't think I ever shared it with you guys, and I also got this one, so I'm gonna bring it out too. So we have Powerless. You can see my bookmark in it because I did start reading it. I couldn't get through it though. It was really slow for me, but everyone loves this book, so I'm forcing myself to continue reading it 100%. I just right now I'm like deep in a book that I'm deep in the world right now, which we're gonna get to. But this is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This is a fantasy. I'm sure you've heard it before. It's all over social media. Took the world by storm. This literally was like a last minute 5-star read for everybody and their mother at the end of 2023. And yeah, I love Lauren Roberts. I think she's so cutie. I see her on TikTok all the time and she's adorable and so inspirational. And I'm excited to continue this book for sure. She also recently released a novella, which was, why is this everywhere? Which was to come out in between this one and Reckless, which is her next book in this series, coming out, I want to say in August, but I could be wrong. The next book that I got is Scarred by Emily McIntyre. I read Hooked earlier this year, absolutely loved it. I will say I listened to the audiobook while reading it, and the audiobook kind of gave me the ick because you could hear them and it was a little bit weird because their voices were not as I imagined, especially when it was in the female POV and the female was speaking for the guy in like a deeper voice. That did bother me. I don't know why they didn't just have the guy that read the guy's POV just read the guy's lines. I don't really understand. But yeah, I picked this one up because I haven't continued the series yet and I'm excited to continue the series, and they have it on Kindle Unlimited. That's why I kept putting it off because I was like, I'm just gonna read it when I re-get Kindle Unlimited. But I'm a physical girl copy. I'm a physical copy girl, hello, at heart, and I knew I had to pick up the physical copy of this because I was just never gonna re-get Kindle Unlimited on time. So I want to jump into this and read all the other ones in the series. I'm pretty sure she's done with this series, but I could definitely be wrong. And yeah, and then the next book that I picked up is Done and Dusted. I've seen this along with the second one all over the place, and so I'm gonna Target the other day and I tried looking for it and it wasn't there, and I hauled ass to Walmart and I picked it up there. And yeah, I'm really excited to read this because I've just seen it all over the place and it just looks like a super cute Western cowboy read. So yeah, I need to try to get into cowboy romances because I feel like that's kind of been the trend this past year. So definitely want to get into that. And then the next book I picked up, speaking of Elsie Silver, is Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I'm gonna be completely honest, the cover is really cute, which is why I brought this book, and I don't even know what it's about, so we're gonna read. My camera just stopped recording because I've been recording for too long. But I was talking about Wild Love. I picked it up because the cover is just so cutie. And I have this is the first book in this series, I think, for Elsie Silver. But I have Flawless, which is the first book in the Chestnut Spring series. And I haven't read that one yet, but I definitely want to get into it because like I was saying about Done and Dusted, I just want to get into that cowboy romance. I want to understand the trend. Like I want to be able to understand what it's about because everyone has been all about cowboy romances and I don't get it because I have yet to read one. So I really want to understand. I feel like it went from like, I feel like it goes in between hockey romances to cowboy romances, and right now people are loving their cowboy romances, so I feel left out. Like I wanna understand what everyone's talking about. Okay, the next book that I picked up is Never by Jessa Hastings. She's the author of Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates, which is a series I've wanted to read for so long. But the same thing as Once Upon a Broken Heart, the UK cover is so much prettier than the US cover, so I have yet to get those, but this cover was gorgeous, so I picked it up, and it's like a Peter Pan retelling, and I'm original fairy tale girly, which I feel like a lot of people don't know about me because I feel like when it comes to a lot of booktubers and stuff, they're all romance girlies, and then recently they've been starting to read fairy tale, fantasy, and they've been like becoming fantasy girlies and whatnot. But I have been a diehard fantasy girly from day one, and I became a romance girly, but I want to revisit my fantasy days. So I picked this up again because of the cover, but it just looks so cutie. And then I got book 3, 2, and 4 of 2, 3, and 4. Why did I say it that way? 2, 3, and 4 of the Kings of Sin series, which is by Anna Huang. She's the author of the Twisted series. I recently finished that series, and when I tell you guys, that was a 5-star series for me. I loved that series so much. I want to do a video talking about them, but I don't currently have my copies because I have a friend reading them, which is totally okay. I never have an issue with any of my friends borrowing any of my books because if they can save money or whatever, go ahead. However, I will say that once a friend borrows a book and returns it and it is not in pristine condition, like I like my books to be, you can no longer borrow from my library. But my friend that has been borrowing my books, she has been borrowing my books for a long time and she always gives them back perfectly. So I love her. And yeah, but I have book 1, which is King of Wrath, and I'm reading that currently. It's taking me a minute to get into just because I just finished Twisted series, and whenever I finish a series, I get into a bit of a book slump. It's not that bad this time because I'm still within the universe, which is like making it a little bit easier, but it's still been difficult. So definitely need to get back into that. But I got, let me put it in an actual, oh hello. Let me put it in order. I got King of Pride, King of Greed, and King of Sloth. King of Sloth just came out, and there are 3 more books in the series that are rumored to come out before she ends with this. So yeah, but King of Sloth is the recent release. It's been all over social media, so I'm excited that I have all of these now. No, I haven't even finished the first one, but Anna Huang has been she's been my girly. And I'm just obsessed with the world that she created, and I love that I get to get little cameos of the previous characters within these books. I will say a thing about Anna Huang is all of her books are listed as standalones. You don't have to read them as if they are a series. However, I would recommend it just because a lot of the other characters get mentioned. So if you were to read Twisted Games before you read Twisted Love, you would have pretty much spoiled the premise of Twisted Love for yourself because all of the characters, it's like in a timeline and you meet all the characters, you see them interact with each other, so it gives away little things. It's not like a massive, like, you won't understand. I think that's why it's not listed as a series, because you can still understand the book without reading the other ones, but it's just aesthetically, and just read it as a series, please. Just read it as a series. I like beg. And then the final book in here is probably the book I'm most excited for. I did tell a little white lie earlier when I was talking about Jessa Hastings. I got a hold of Magnolia Parks. I actually can't. Look at me. What am I doing? Okay, sorry. I got a hold of Magnolia Parks, the original cover, the UK cover. I got this off of eBay. I don't know why I didn't think of doing that earlier. It wasn't even that expensive. And like, look at her. Like, look at her. Like, she is like, look at her. She's giving. So I'm so excited to finally be able to read this because I've been so stubborn that I would not read the previous cover. However, she's Gorgina, and I'm so excited to read the Magnolia Parks series and to get into that world. So yeah, that is it. There was a lot of books, literally everywhere. I don't know how I'm gonna organize this. Okay, that is it for today's video. There's so many books all over my bed, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you guys so much for watching. It was a bit of a massive book haul. I don't know why I never do mini book hauls. I feel like I always just gather all my books and I do massive ones. If you haven't checked out my last book haul, it'll be up here in the corner and at the end of this video. So make sure to go check that out, and make sure to subscribe if you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and turn on post notifications so you can be notified whenever I post a new video, and follow me on all of my socials, which will be in the description down below. And comment down below what you guys want to see from me, and I will see all of you in the next one. Bye! Do 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 do.